Well, all the major parties have released policies on how to deal with the housing crisis, but what do they all mean? Well, for more, housing analyst Henry Pryor joins us now to make sense of it all. Henry, there's a build-up for you.
No pressure.
Let's look at Labour's plans first of all to cap stamp duty, to cut stamp duty. Do you think it will help first-time buyers?
I think it's desperately unlikely that it is going to help first-time buyers, I'm afraid. We saw last year, 2014, what you've got full calendar figures for, 1.2 million homes sold across the United Kingdom, 312,000 to first-time buyers. I fear that what's going to happen is if you give £5,000, which is the maximum that anyone is going to benefit with, to 10 potential first-time buyers chasing 6 available properties, that all will happen is that those 6 sellers will get £5,000 richer, and 4 first-time buyers will be left still homeless.
OK, so what about the Conservative plans? Now, earlier in the campaign, we heard from them about extending the right to buy scheme to housing association homes. What difference might that make, if any? Well,
again, I think what we're seeing here is a demand-led solution, or an attempt at a solution to the demand side of the problem, as opposed to looking forensically at the supply side. All the political parties are guilty of this, and it's depressing that we can't see more imagination being shown by any of them to deal with to grasp the really difficult question, which is, are we going to build more houses, and if so, where?
Well, I mean, UKIP have talked about building 1 million homes on previously developed land by 2025. The Lib Dems have talked about increasing house building to 300,000 a year, and the Conservatives and Labour. So, I mean, they have attempted to deal with this issue. Is your point that they've not looked at it enough, or they're not planning to build enough homes?
Well, our problem is that, and if you throw into the Greens into the mix, they're talking about 500,000 homes. This is all laudable, but very little detail in terms of how this is going to be dealt with. UKIP are talking about building on brownfields. All the parties have got ideas and concepts, but we've seen, frankly, 5 wasted years as house building has fallen to 125,000 completions last year. We know that new demand is creating households at the rate of 221,000 a year. If we got to wait until 2020, the end of the next Parliament, to see a tangible demonstration of effort and endeavour to try and solve the supply side issue, then I'm afraid everybody's going to be very disappointed, and the next election will be even more contentious.
Go on then, what needs to be done?
Well, unfortunately, the big problem is that everybody, including all the main political parties, acknowledge that we are not building enough new homes. What we have got in terms of housing stock is, by and large, the wrong sort of property in the wrong place. So the coalition government over the last 5 years have worked very hard to try and shift the centre of gravity away from London and the South East, building things like HS2, which is proposed, installing high-speed broadband in some cities, and talking about northern powerhouses. These are things that obviously are going to help move people and relieve the pressure, but the fundamental problem is that whilst 75% of the population, according to the last Ipsos-Mori survey, recognised that there was a housing crisis, less than 50% of them felt that that crisis was in their area. Jolly difficult as a campaigning politician to knock on doors and say, we have a solution to the housing crisis. I'm afraid that in that process we're probably going to devalue your own home and possibly spoil the view. Can I count on your vote? A very difficult sell.
OK, good to hear your thoughts, Henry Pryor. Thanks for coming in to talk to us. Thanks.